Good morning and thank you for joining us for State of Texas in Depth. I'm Josh Hinkle. Whether you're in the city or the country, there's one issue that connects everyone: roads. This year, highway funding will be a big talking point. Of course, the devil is in the details. Back in the fall, voters overwhelmingly approved Proposition 1, which diverted money from oil and gas taxes to highway funding. But that was only a third of what TxDOT says it needs to keep congestion at the same level. This session, one proposal would be more of a long-term fix. Senate Transportation Chair Robert Nichols announced a plan to divert motor vehicle sales tax revenue to the highway fund. That could be billions starting in 2018.
TxDOT would be able to put on the books approximately $25 billion of transportation projects.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick praised that plan, saying it could help the state get away from a dependence on borrowing and toll roads to meet our traffic needs. For months, we've reported on customer service issues at the Texas Department of Transportation's toll payment system, TxTag. This week, after several KXAN investigations, state lawmakers grilled TxDOT officials and representatives from the state's contractor, Xerox. As KXAN Sophia Beausoleil explains, it became heated very quickly.
Why are people sitting on hold? They're not sitting on hold because they're confused. They're sitting on hold because something on your end isn't working.
No. The customer is sitting on hold if the CSR unfortunately doesn't have a quick answer for them.
At moments, it was tense.
How many of the customers were sent pay-by-mail invoices when their tolls should have been applied to their valid TxTag accounts?
We did have some customers who received pay-by-mail statements in error. They should have been applied to their TxTag account.
I know that, and my question is how many?
The statistics we have right now is about 30,000.
Senator Kirk Watson of Austin grilled Xerox's vice president, Lori Zavidal. Her company is the one that handles TxTag's billing and customer service.
We're not done, and we're going to continue to drill down on this, and weekly we're going to demand additional answers as they attempt to fix this very bad problem they've created.
He says he's glad he finally got some answers, but will keep his eye on the company, just like many others in Central Texas. Sophia Beausoleil, KXAN News.
The agency leaders and vendor Xerox answered some of the questions, but not others. That's when KXAN investigator Brian Collister stepped in to get answers we've been demanding for months.
We've made our comments in the hearing. Thank you.
But why aren't you willing to answer to the people who you serve?
We have answered. Thank you.
What do you say to the people who've been affected directly to them for your mistakes?
We got to apologize for the inconvenience. We can do better.
And the head of TxDOT agrees Xerox can and will do better under his agency's guiding hand.
The committee didn't seem to appreciate Xerox's answers at times. Do you still feel comfortable that they can do the job?
I do feel comfortable that Xerox can do the job. And I feel comfortable that we're going to do a better job managing and overseeing and working with Xerox to ensure they do the job.
A job that will now include waiving late fees for thousands of TxTag customers. This on top of ironing out persisting problems TxDOT says Xerox actually inherited from the previous vendor.
I don't think they realized, nor did we, the extent of some of those damaged files and what it was going to take, the amount of mail-outs it was going to take to try to establish communications with people to solve them.
We're now going to have to work with Xerox to make sure that we're able to ramp up to manage the incoming demand as a result of some of this news that we've shared with you all today.
Remember, we were the first to tell you how Xerox was being hit with thousands in fines because of these problems. It's all part of our investigation that began last summer when we started getting your concerns and complaints. You can see our full investigation online at KXAN.com. At the Capitol, Brian Collister, KXAN Investigates.
We're starting to see some signs of improvement at TxDOT's Customer Service Center. With the promise that issues were resolved, we decided to put the service to the test with one of our viewers. For weeks, she's been trying to get in touch with TxTag, running into busy signal after busy signal.
They can't take care of it. It's too impossible. And then the next thing, here y'all are, and here I am going through the process. And it actually was a wonderful experience compared to my times before.
Dottie was on hold for about 4 minutes before getting through one day this week. Still, there are other customers who tell us service remains slow. Traffic troubles along I-35 may be a little worse because of all the trucks coming through our area. So what about another option? The toll road just to our east, Highway 130. The plan of the state capitol to move trucks and how it could help all of our commutes next on State of Texas in Depth. Several truck crashes this week highlighted a major problem on highways in Austin. A big rig shut down lanes of I-35 for hours near Highway 183. Days later, another crash on the south side of Austin. We've all been stuck behind trucks before, and now one local lawmaker has a plan to get many of them off I-35. Representative Celia Israel sits on the House Transportation Committee at the state capitol. She says nearly a quarter of all vehicles on I-35 are 3-axle trucks or larger.
I think it's my responsibility to step up to the plate for the district, and I live in Northeast Travis County. I know what it's like to take a flyover and get stuck at the top of the flyover.
She has filed a bill to try to convince big rigs to move to SH-130. Israel's plan involves cutting tolls. It would cut the cost from $54 a trip for big rigs down to $9, the same price as any other car. Moving big trucks off I-35 isn't just about congestion, it's also about safety. Right now in the investigative section of KXAN.com, check out our story about hazardous materials driving right next to you and why local leaders need to come up with some sort of plan to deal with them. The real question for tweaking transportation in our area is how to pay for it. Our roundtable, Depth TxDOT from Travis County's Intergovernmental Affairs and Ben Ware from the Austin American-Statesman. Coming up when State of Texas in Depth returns. Ask just about anyone living in Travis, Williamson, and Hays counties about their biggest complaint, and traffic is likely to come up. So what can we do about it? Our roundtable may have some ideas. Depth TxDOT is the Intergovernmental Relations Coordinator for Travis County, the county's voice to state lawmakers, and Ben Ware covers transportation at the Austin American-Statesman. Welcome, guys. Thank you for being with us.
Good to be here.
Thank you. So something that we've been talking about recently with the legislature back in session is how to get truck traffic out of the heart of downtown Austin. And one of our new representatives, Celia Israel, has filed a bill to actually try to lower the tolls on SH-130 to the east of the city to make it cheaper for trucks to actually travel out there. Get them off of I-35 out there. Is this really feasible, Ben?
Well, TxDOT has already done that to some degree since the roads opened in 2007. They lowered it from, say, 4 times the normal rate to 3 times the normal rate. They also did a pilot at one time where they lowered it all the way to what a car pays. They charge more for trucks. They lowered it to what a car pays, and it did show an improvement in the number of trucks that were on Texas 130. The problem really is that based on TxDOT surveys in the past, something like 80% of the trucks that you see on I-35 in the center of Austin are not passing through from San Antonio to Waco. They are headed for someplace in Austin, and going around the city on 130 wouldn't make sense for those trucks.
Is this something that Travis County could get behind?
We really haven't taken a position on it. We're much more concerned with the global questions of how do we fund transportation here in the state of Texas. Particularly the Speaker and the House have taken the lead on trying to remove $1 billion a year of diversions of what we would think of as transportation money to other causes. We support that initiative, and we hope that that puts more money into the real transportation department and the programs it does. Last fall, of course, the voters approved Prop 1, which will put in the next 2 years $1.7 billion a year into additional highway funding. That's the kind of big picture investment that the state needs to make to get caught up. According to TxDOT, we're $5 billion a year behind on what it would take just to maintain the current levels of congestion. I don't know anybody in Central Texas who's happy with the current levels of congestion, so we're going to have to really do some investment, and that's going to take some political courage from our legislators. The Travis County Commissioners Court supports those kinds of investments.
How can we guarantee that any of that money will go to the roads here in Austin and Travis County anytime immediately?
Well, the $1.7 billion that is being allocated because of the Prop 1 is going to go to a formula that already includes Travis County and it already includes Central Texas roads in it. It is the formula that TxDOT uses for general allocation of road funds. We'd always like to get a bigger chunk of that, but at least we're going to get some of that money, and that money will be able to make a difference in Central Texas.
According to a list they put out a few weeks ago, and they'll vote on it in February on the Transportation Commission later this month, Central Texas would get, I think it was about $120 million of that $1.74 billion. When, if they were to eliminate the diversions, which I think now are as high as $1.3 billion, Central Texas would probably get about an extra $100 million a year out of that, and it would keep going, going forward. So there's a good chance that we're going to have a lot more money to spend on road expansion around here than we have had.
One of the big topics with roads in Central Texas is tollways and the TxDOT system. It's been our biggest complaint from viewers here at KXAN since they launched the new system with the new vendor, Xerox, back in the summer. Obviously, this is something that a lot of Austinites and a lot of people in Travis County deal with. Dees, what do you see as a good solution? Because it seems like these problems keep popping back up and back up and back up.
I hate to admit it, but I kind of like the old way. I set up my account with TxDOT. I went through the thing. They made the deductions. I understand there's a new system in place. I haven't used toll roads much since then, but I didn't see any problems with the old system.
Well, the system per se hasn't changed. You can still have a TxDOT. It can still have regular deductions from it. But you also have people that don't have a TxDOT. Right. That existed before. It still exists. The problem was not so much the two mechanisms, it was how it was being processed by the old vendors and now the new vendor. The old vendor left a considerable mess for TxDOT and the new vendor to clean up. The new vendor had assured TxDOT that it could do it, and so far they've done a very bad job of doing that.
Seems like it would be easier to go back to coins. Just throw them in the basket.
Well, it would be easier, but the reason the toll industry has gotten away from coin toll booths is because people have to stop. And part of the main argument for a toll road is speed. And if you have toll booths that you have to stop at every now and then, it slows everybody down.
Let's move on to texting while driving. This is a big issue here in Austin right now, something that the city leaders really wanted to cut down on. We did have this new ordinance go into effect where you can't do anything unless it's hands-free in the car now. So is it working? I know that police have been out there trying to enforce it, but it doesn't seem like the numbers are really stacking up that much.
Well, I haven't looked into it on a global fashion. I know it's working for me. I'm doing it a lot less. I'm down to almost none now. I've just confessed to a crime. Having a law, the argument for it, and there is a bill in the legislature, again, to try to outlaw it statewide, is that if you have a law, even if it's enforced sparsely by the police, because it is a hard law to enforce, people by and large want to obey the law, and they will stop certain behaviors if you outlaw it.
And is this something that Travis County is also getting behind? Obviously, it's a big change for Austin to do. Do you think people traveling into Travis County are aware of this law? Is it something that we need to better publicize?
I don't know what people from out of Travis County know about the city's ban. It is the city's ban. It'll be interesting to see if some of our legislative friends who are coming in from other parts of the state run afoul of the Austin law, and whether or not that affects their feelings about a statewide ban on texting. From the perspective of the Commissioner's Court, we don't have a position on it one way or another. Counties don't have the authority to do texting bans or cell phone bans, so we're not currently seeking that authority.
Quite a few Texas cities have it already, so many of these legislators coming into Austin would already be operating, living their daily life under such bans. The legislature overwhelmingly passed a very similar bill back in the 2011 session. Governor Perry vetoed it, said he didn't feel that we should have a law that micromanages adult behavior. Representative Craddock carried a similar bill in 2013. It got nowhere. He's hoping now with a different governor in place that perhaps he could get it through the legislature and maybe get a signature. Abbott has given mixed signals on whether he would sign such a bill.
Well, we will see how it all turns out in the next, 3 or 4 months until things start really getting to his desk to look for his signature, right?
Yes.
All right.
About 107 days to go.
You're counting down.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for being with us. I appreciate it. And remember, you can join us for State of Texas every Sunday morning at 8:30 for a broader look at Texas politics. Stay tuned for Meet the Press coming up at 9. I'm Josh Hinkle. Have a great day.